Boys and girls, today for religion we're going to be talking about priests. We know our priests at St. Mary's, Father Maz, Father Chris, and how much we enjoy spending time with them and hearing their homilies. Some of you may also attend church at a different parish, and you may have priests there that you've gotten to know. So we start by reading how priests are called by God. And we talked a little bit yesterday about how sometimes a calling isn't a voice outside of your head, but a voice inside of your head. And so we start with naming the priests who work in your parish, which I just did, but as I said, some of you may also know priests in other parishes. So we want to think about all the things that priests do for the parish and for us. Sometimes if people are sick, the priest will go visit them. They say Mass every week. If someone has a special need, they might call on the priest to talk to him. Priests hear our confession. They help us with receiving our sacraments, of course. So we start by reading, we believe. Some men are called or invited to serve God and the church as priests. A man becomes a priest when he receives the sacrament of holy orders. Priests spend their lives sharing God's love with people. Priests share the message of Jesus. They help us to live as Jesus did. Priests lead the celebration of Mass and other sacraments. They teach us about our Catholic faith. They work in parishes, schools, hospitals, and communities all over the world. And of course, we can't forget Deacon John, right? Deacons are baptized men who have received the sacrament of holy orders. Some men are deacons for life or permanent deacons. These men may be married or single. Other men become deacons as a step before they become priests. Deacons serve the church by assisting the bishops and priests. Deacons serve in their parishes by baptizing new members into the church and by witnessing at marriages. They can proclaim the gospel and give homilies at Mass. Deacons also have a special responsibility to serve people in need. Is there a deacon serving in your parish? Well, there certainly is. Deacon John. So we've talked about some of the ways that priests serve us, serve our church. All right, maybe you can think of a few more that we didn't talk about. What I would like you to do today for Father Maz or Father Chris, Father Bakey, is think about what you appreciate about what they do for us. And I want you to write a letter to Father Maz or Father Chris. Think of at least 2 things that you appreciate that they do for us or for the church, and write them a thank you card. All right? So we've many times before written letters. You start out with Dear Father Chris or Father Maz. And of course, Father Chris and Father Maz are proper nouns so that we know that they need to be what? They need to be capitalized. What do you call that section of the letter, Dear Father Chris? We call that the greeting. And after we write Dear Father Chris, what do we put? What punctuation? A comma. Before you start your letter, what are you going to do? What's that big word that we've been saying all year? Indent. Yes, you're going to indent. And you can start out with thank you for, okay? Or you can tell them that you're glad that they are your priest. Maybe tell a few things about memories that you have, maybe of them, giving a special Mass. Just something you remember about them that's special. Before you start your letter, maybe take a few minutes and write down some ideas about what you want to say. And then the part of your letter that you're writing is the body. And that's where you're going to put all of your thoughts. And then you're going to say sincerely or fondly. And what do we call that part? That's the closing. And then you're going to sign your name. So boys and girls, today your parents will send me your first copy, your rough draft. All right, have a good day, boys and girls.